Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to hear me and hear me well. There is a weight that comes with being chosen, a price that must be paid when destiny calls your name. A chosen woman does not walk the path of the ordinary. She does not blend in with the crowd or move with the noise of the masses. No, she walks alone, not because she is weak, not because she is forgotten, but because she is set apart. You see, greatness is a lonely road. The eagles do not flock like the pigeons. The lioness does not seek validation from the sheep. A chosen woman understands that her journey requires solitude, silence, and separation. She is not isolated, she is being elevated. So tonight, I challenge you, if you find yourself walking alone, do not fear. It is not rejection, it is redirection. It is not loneliness, it is leadership. Because a chosen woman is not meant to fit in, she is meant to stand out. Now, let's dive deeper. Are you ready? A chosen woman understands that her journey is not meant to be like everyone else's. She is set apart, called for something greater, and with that calling comes the necessity of walking alone. Separation is not a punishment, it is preparation. It is in solitude that she learns, grows, and discovers the depths of her strength. The world may not understand her path, and that is because it was never meant to be understood by the masses. She is walking a road that is specifically designed for her. One that requires her to leave behind the familiar, the comfortable, and sometimes even the people she once thought would walk with her forever. When a woman is chosen for something extraordinary, she cannot afford to move with the crowd. The weight of her calling demands that she moves differently. She cannot engage in the same distractions, participate in the same conversations, or be influenced by the same mindsets. Separation is necessary because it is in this space of isolation that she sharpens her vision. Clarity does not come from noise, it comes from stillness. When she is alone, she can hear the voice of purpose more clearly. She begins to understand that elevation requires sacrifice, and one of the first sacrifices is companionship. Walking alone is not a sign of weakness, but a symbol of strength. It takes courage to walk a path that few dare to take. It takes resilience to embrace solitude when the world constantly pushes the idea that validation comes from others. A chosen woman does not seek external approval because she knows that her assignment does not require it. The higher she climbs, the fewer people can go with her. Not everyone is meant to understand her journey, and not everyone is equipped to handle the weight of her destiny. Greatness demands separation. The eagle does not fly in flocks like sparrows. It soars alone in the highest places. A chosen woman must embrace this truth. She must understand that her solitude is not an indication of failure, but rather an indication of elevation. She is being prepared for something greater than herself, and that preparation often requires her to walk alone. There is a refining that takes place in solitude. It is in the moments of separation that she learns who she truly is, free from the expectations and influences of others. She develops strength, resilience, and an unshakable sense of purpose. The world may question her decision to walk alone. Some may misunderstand her, labeling her as distant, difficult, or even arrogant. But she knows the truth. She is not distancing herself because she thinks she is better than others. She is stepping into a place where she can fully embrace the woman she was created to be. She understands that if she stays where she has always been, she will never become who she is meant to be. The price of elevation is separation, and she is willing to pay it. As she walks alone, she will experience moments of doubt. She will wonder if she is making the right choice, if the loneliness is worth it, and if she should turn back to the familiar. But every time she looks within herself, she will find the answer. She was never meant to fit in. She was never meant to stay in one place. She was called to rise, to break barriers, and to redefine what is possible. Her separation is not in vain. It is the very thing that will lead her to her highest potential. Rejection is often one of the first signs that a chosen woman is being redirected toward her true purpose. It may come in the form of people walking away, doors closing, or opportunities slipping through her fingers. At first, it may feel painful, confusing, or even unfair, but over time, she will come to understand that rejection is not meant to break her, it is meant to build her. Every closed door is a divine message telling her that she was never meant to settle there. Every person who leaves her life was never meant to complete the journey with her. Rejection is not a loss, it is a redirection towards something greater. A chosen woman must reframe how she views rejection. Instead of seeing it as a failure, she must recognize it as guidance. The things she thought she needed, the people she believed she couldn't live without, and the paths she once pursued were all part of a temporary season. When something or someone is removed from her life, it is not an accident. It is an intentional shift designed to position her where she truly belongs. She may not understand it in the moment, but in time she will look back and realize that what she thought was a setback was actually a setup for something far greater than she imagined. Walking alone often begins with rejection. It may seem like the world is pushing her away, but in reality, she is being pulled toward a higher purpose. This is why a chosen woman must resist the urge to force relationships, chase after opportunities that have passed, or hold on to things that no longer serve her. She must trust the process. She must believe that if something was removed from her life, it was only because it was making space for something better. Her purpose is too great for her to settle in places where she does not belong. Rejection also serves as a tool for refinement. When a chosen woman experiences doors closing, it forces her to look within. It strengthens her resilience, sharpens her focus, and teaches her to rely on her inner power rather than external validation. She learns that her value is not determined by whether or not she is accepted by others. She realizes that she is whole, complete, and worthy, regardless of who acknowledges it. This self-awareness is crucial because at higher levels, she will face even greater challenges. If she is not secure in who she is, the pressure of her calling will overwhelm her. Many of the greatest women in history were rejected before they were celebrated. They were misunderstood, doubted, and even ridiculed before they were recognized. The same pattern repeats itself in every generation. Those who are chosen must first endure seasons of being overlooked. But what seems like rejection is actually divine protection. If she had been accepted in the wrong places, she would have settled for less than she deserved. If she had been embraced too soon, she may not have been fully prepared for the magnitude of her destiny. A chosen woman does not chase after what is not meant for her. She does not beg to be included where she is not valued. She understands that her path is different, and because of that, not everyone will see her worth immediately, but that does not change her value. She keeps moving forward, knowing that every rejection is simply guiding her to something far beyond what she could have planned for herself. She does not fear closed doors. She embraces them because she knows that each one is leading her to exactly where she is meant to be. An eagle is never found in a flock. It soars high above, navigating the skies alone, while other birds gather in clusters, content with their limited flight. A chosen woman must understand this principle. She cannot expect to move with the crowd and still reach extraordinary heights. She is built differently, wired for a higher purpose. And because of that, she must learn to be comfortable standing alone. There's a distinct difference between those who follow the crowd and those who are called to lead. The crowd seeks comfort, familiarity, and validation from numbers. They move together because it feels safe. But a chosen woman does not have that luxury. Her destiny demands separation, and her growth requires solitude. She cannot afford to dilute her vision just to fit in. She cannot afford to shrink her dreams just to be accepted. Eagles don't flock because their wings were designed to carry them above the storms. Likewise, a chosen woman's purpose demands that she rises beyond the ordinary. The higher she goes, the fewer people can accompany her. Not everyone is equipped to handle the altitude of her calling. Some may want to be part of her journey, but they lack the strength, endurance, or mindset to withstand the pressures that come with elevation. The air is thinner at the top, and only those who are prepared can breathe in that space. This is why a chosen woman must be selective about who she allows into her life. Not everyone who starts with her is meant to finish with her. Some relationships, friendships, and connections are only meant for a season. Holding on to the wrong people will only weigh her down, preventing her from reaching the heights she is destined for. A woman who is chosen must also develop the courage to embrace her uniqueness. Eagles do not apologize for flying alone. They do not envy the pigeons that gather in flocks, because they understand that their journey is different. In the same way, a chosen woman must resist the temptation to compare her path to others. She may see people moving in groups, supporting each other, and seemingly thriving together while she walks alone. But she must remember she was not built for the ordinary. Her purpose requires her to break barriers, step into uncharted territories, and lead the way for others. True greatness is never found in the comfort of the crowd. Those who make history, those who create change, and those who leave a lasting impact are often the ones who dare to walk alone. A chosen woman does not need the approval of the masses to confirm her worth. She does not seek validation from the majority because she understands that her calling is not dependent on public opinion. She moves with confidence, knowing that her journey is divinely orchestrated. There will be moments when loneliness tries to whisper doubt into her mind. She may wonder if she is making the right decisions, if she should have stayed where it was safe, if she should have followed the crowd instead of forging her own path. But deep down, she knows the truth. She was meant to stand apart. She was meant to defy the norms, challenge limitations, and inspire others through her courage. The very fact that she is walking alone is proof that she is on the right path. A chosen woman does not resent her solitude, she embraces it. She understands that just as the eagle flies alone, so must she. Because eagles don't flock, they soar. Loneliness is not a weakness, it is a refining process. A chosen woman must understand that walking alone is not a punishment, it is preparation. In solitude, she discovers her true strength, builds resilience, and sharpens her focus. The world teaches people to fear being alone, to equate it with failure or rejection. But in reality, solitude is the birthplace of transformation. It is in the quiet moments, away from distractions and external influences, that she comes face to face with who she truly is. When a chosen woman walks alone, she learns to rely on herself. She is no longer dependent on the approval, opinions, or validation of others. She becomes her own source of motivation, her own source of encouragement, and her own source of wisdom. This independence is not built overnight. It is forged through moments of isolation where she has no choice but to push forward on her own. She realizes that she does not need a crowd to confirm her purpose. Her path was set before her, and whether or not people recognize it, she must keep moving forward. Resilience is not something that is developed in comfort. It is built in the moments of struggle, in the seasons of uncertainty, in the times when there is no one to lean on but herself. A chosen woman learns to endure because she has no other choice. She cannot afford to break under pressure, and she refuses to give up just because the journey feels difficult. Every time she overcomes a challenge, she grows stronger. Every time she pushes through loneliness, she becomes more powerful. She understands that if she can survive on her own, there is nothing that can truly stop her. The world often glorifies external strength, the kind that is seen and acknowledged by others, but true strength is built in private. A chosen woman does not need an audience to validate her growth. She trains her mind, disciplines her emotions, and masters her spirit in the silence of her solitude. She learns to face her fears, conquer her doubts, and rise above her past. She does not let loneliness weaken her. She uses it to sharpen herself. Solitude also brings clarity. When she is constantly surrounded by people, opinions, and noise, it becomes difficult to hear her own voice. But when she is alone, she can listen to her intuition, to her dreams, to the voice of purpose guiding her forward. She begins to understand what she truly wants, what truly matters, and what she must leave behind. Distractions fall away, and she is left with a clear vision of where she is headed. A chosen woman must embrace loneliness not as a curse, but as a gift. It is in this space that she evolves, transforms, and prepares for the greatness ahead. She does not resist it, nor does she try to escape it. Instead, she leans into it, knowing that every moment spent alone is shaping her into the woman she was meant to be. Not everyone is meant to walk with a chosen woman. This is one of the hardest truths she must come to terms with on her journey. As she rises, as she grows, as she steps into her calling, she will realize that some people will naturally fall away. It is not because they are bad people, and it is not because she is unworthy of love or companionship. It is simply because her path requires a different level of focus, discipline, and mindset, one that not everyone is willing or able to match. There will be friends who once understood her but now seem distant. There will be family members who question her decisions and colleagues who doubt her abilities. Some will misunderstand her determination, mistaking her silence for arrogance or her ambition for selfishness. Others will try to hold her back, not because they want to harm her, but because they cannot see beyond their own limitations. A chosen woman must recognize when to let go. She must discern between those who support her journey and those who hinder it, not out of malice, but out of their own fears and insecurities. As she climbs higher, the weight of unnecessary attachments becomes unbearable. She cannot carry everyone with her, nor is she meant to. Some people are meant to be part of her past, not her future. Holding on to relationships that no longer serve her only delays her progress. The chosen woman must be willing to release what no longer aligns with her purpose, even if it hurts. Growth requires sacrifice, and sometimes that sacrifice comes in the form of walking away from people who once felt essential. Not everyone is willing to endure the level of discipline, faith, and perseverance that a chosen woman must embrace. Some will encourage her to take shortcuts. Others will try to convince her to settle for less than she deserves. A chosen woman must be firm in her convictions. She must be willing to say no to distractions, even if they come. Wrapped in the form of companionship, comfort, or nostalgia, she must choose her purpose over temporary satisfaction. This realization does not mean she is destined for a life of loneliness. Instead, it means that the right people, the ones who align with her purpose, will find her at the right time. She will attract those who understand her vision, who support her growth, and who push her toward greatness. But first, she must clear the path. She must create space for these connections by letting go of those who are not meant to continue the journey with her. A chosen woman does not beg for people to stay. She does not plead for acceptance or chase after those who do not value her presence. She moves forward with confidence, knowing that those who are truly meant for her will walk alongside her without resistance. She understands that not everyone can handle the weight of her calling, and she respects that. But she also refuses to shrink herself just to make others comfortable. The road of a chosen woman is not crowded. It is a path of refinement where only those who are truly aligned with her purpose can remain. And that is not something to fear. It is something to embrace. A chosen woman cannot afford to be distracted. Her purpose is too great, her assignment too critical, and her vision too precious to be diluted by unnecessary noise. Divine assignment requires focus, and that focus often demands separation. The higher she ascends, the more intentional she must become about what she allows into her mind, her space, and her spirit. Not every opportunity is meant for her. Not every invitation deserves her presence. Not every battle is worth her energy. She must guard her purpose with unwavering discipline. And extractions come in many forms: people, places, habits, emotions. Some distractions come disguised as opportunities, leading her down paths that may seem beneficial, but ultimately pull her away from her true calling. Others come in the form of relationships that drain her energy rather than pour into her growth. A chosen woman must be discerning. She must ask herself, is this leading me toward my purpose, or is it pulling me away? If the answer is the latter, she must have the strength to walk away. Focus requires sacrifice. It means saying no when others expect a yes. It means declining invitations that do not align with her goals. It means being intentional about how she spends her time and who she spends it with. It means prioritizing long-term success over short-term gratification. A chosen woman understands that she cannot afford to waste time on things that do not serve her destiny. Every moment matters. Every decision counts. She is not just living for today. She is building a future, fulfilling a purpose, and walking in divine alignment. Her mind must be sharp. Her vision must be clear. She cannot afford to be swayed by opinions, discouraged by setbacks, or consumed by distractions that lead nowhere. This is why walking alone is necessary. She needs space to think, to strategize, to listen to the voice of purpose guiding her forward. When too many voices surround her, confusion sets in, but in solitude, clarity emerges. She can hear her own thoughts, trust her own instincts, and align her actions with her greater mission. Discipline becomes her greatest weapon. A chosen woman does not rely on motivation alone because motivation fades. She relies on discipline, the ability to stay committed even when the process feels slow, even when the results are not immediate, even when doubt tries to creep in. She understands that distractions are designed to delay her, to keep her from stepping fully into her calling, but she refuses to be delayed. She refuses to be detoured. She refuses to let anything pull her away from what she was created to do. She moves with intention. Every step she takes is purposeful. Every action is aligned with her greater mission. She understands that a chosen woman does not chase after everything that comes her way. She attracts what is meant for her by staying focused, disciplined, and unwavering in her pursuit of greatness.